I'm here once again with Alex Perez of Spectrum Advisory Group, financial advisor, and you are going to explain for us TMRS. How does it work? Who is it best suited for? What are some of the things we should be aware of before doing or not doing our own TMRS?
Before I get into that, Spike, let me just explain why I think I'm the best suited to give advice on the TMRS drop payment. You know, my father was a police officer for a long time, and I understand the culture. I understand the fabric of how police officers think and what they think about their money. I take that into consideration when I'm giving advice to my clients. But on the TMRS drop, they're able to take between a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year drop payment from their TMRS pension system. And, you know, they can roll it over. They can take it as a payment to themselves, or they can put it in the deferred comp, which I absolutely don't recommend that they do.
If somebody doesn't do the drop, what would be motivating that?
The biggest reason officers consider not taking a drop payment is because they want a higher monthly annuity. But in most cases, if they do the math, which I'll do the math for them, they actually can create a higher income by taking that drop payment, letting it set for 2 or 3 years, and then creating an income. It usually will overcome what they were giving up by taking the drop payment.
Okay, so sitting down and doing some real planning, you can show the numbers over time and how you can actually increase it without, because as we know, to protect and serve is the phrasing, of course, because a lot of officers want to protect their money. In doing something like this, you're not overly taking risk, are you?
Not at all. Most of the time, about 75% of our clients usually will roll their drop payment into a fixed index annuity, which is principal guaranteed. They have no risk of losing any money in the market. They can create an income. They can leave it to their spouse. They can leave it to their kids. They can utilize, indexing for rates of return. So they don't have to worry about, any market fluctuation at all.
And as you said, many officers, if not most officers, will end up putting it right back into their 457. Why aren't you a fan of that?
I'm not a fan of that because when you retire, planning your retirement and getting service on your financial life is prominent. I mean, you have to get that type of advice. And when you put it in a 457, you're never going to hear from the provider again. You're not going to get a phone call. You're not going to get a review on your statement. There's going to be zero advice. And it doesn't make them bad people. But, working with an individual like myself that has a passion and has an outlook for taking care of officers, I think is something they have to consider.
Change is difficult, though, for anyone. And you might say, look, this 457 has been working for me. I'm just going to roll it over into there. I don't want to be following other accounts. I don't want to go figure this stuff out. And by the way, this 457, it's probably really low in costs for me because it's being provided by my employer, if you will, the state, the county, the community. Is it less expensive than something you might be able to provide on the outside?
Every investment has a cost. It may be minimal, it may be high, but a 457 does have mutual funds inside of it. They do have internal costs. They usually will, range between 0.8 to 1%. In the fixed index annuity, there usually is 0 to minimal cost because they're provided by life insurance companies. So the cost is really, really low. The only time you have any type of cost is if you build in a rider, like a long-term care rider or some type of other benefit. That's the only time you'll have a cost associated with it.
All right. You mentioned one option there in the annuity. Is that usually the only way you go, or what else could you do with this drop payment?
No, there's 2 other ways that you can invest your drop. You can use managed money, where a professional money manager is managing your money on a daily basis. You actually can convert it into an index universal life. That's usually very, very rare, but that's if you're not looking at using your drop payment, you want to leave it to your kids or your grandkids. It's a great estate planning tool.
All right. Currently, which communities do you serve with the TMRS, and how does that work, and why is there actually the TMRS drop?
So our clients consist of Laredo, Brownsville, and Corpus Christi, but any small municipality in Texas usually participates in the Texas Municipal Retirement System. I can help any of those individuals.
All right. So if you're wondering what to do with your TMRS drop payment, or if you haven't considered taking it yet, or if you're thinking that you don't want to do it at all because you just want to have the highest pension possible, why don't you have somebody help you crunch those numbers and figure out how you can maximize either using the drop payment or everything that you've saved and worked so hard for. Thank you for protecting our community. Let Alex Perez and his team help protect your financial assets in retirement.